John, first of all, let me say I love you being here, and I appreciate you coming in every week. But it is brutal. This season is brutal. This game was not a surprise. We knew Georgia Tech was going to stick it to them. I know you're a Falcon. I'm a Falcon alum. It was ugly in every phase except Jared Dagey with the 300 yards. Is there any other bright spot you can pull from this thing for me?
Well, I think the offense as a whole was a bright spot. I think we saw Jared Dagey finally get some wings. You saw the offense be aggressive, and the offense this time, the passing game, set up the running game. You know, normally we always say the running game sets up the pass. No, the passing game set up the running game. There were a few more lanes for the running backs. You saw Rico Fry take care of some things. Ravion Hargrove did some good things in the end. I think you saw some wide receivers do some good things. You know, sad to lose Derek Pudavong.
Yeah.
But, you know, you saw some wide receivers do some things. So you saw that the offense could score points. That was a game, honestly, where we scored 17, but there was a turnover in the red zone, and we really probably should have had closer to 28 to 35 in that game.
Yeah.
So there were some positives there, but, you know, whenever you look at the score on the ticker, it's like, oh.
You see 63.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to be there. You couldn't leave. I got to change the channel.
There's nothing worse than trying to announce a game when the score looks like that. There's absolutely nothing worse than that.
Were you going into some Robert Frost or some poetry halfway through?
I mean, you sit there and you really try to really analyze it. After a while, there's only so many ways you can say, ugh, that's ugly, and continue to say it. But I think what you saw also was at the end of the game, there was, because it was a very hot day. It was 85, 87 degrees,
right,
which means it was probably, you know, close to 100 on the field. Mm-hmm. You saw some guys from Georgia Tech that got their opportunity and made some big plays. You also saw some guys from BG that, you know, really kind of got out there and, you know, cut their teeth, did some good things. I mean, again, you're going out there, there's no Lorenzo Taborn. You know, he's back from the injury, he's healthy from the injury, but then all of a sudden, you know, he gets food poisoning. And so he's literally like, you know, he looks like a zombie Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So he doesn't play.
Yeah.
And so the kind of rolling that you want to do on the offensive line to keep guys fresh doesn't happen. There were a lot of things that went wrong on Saturday, but there were a lot of good things. I mean, as much as you can when you're talking about a 63 to 17 beatdown.
No matter what you say, it's still bad, and it's always going to be. We'll just move past. We'll move past and we'll leave it in Atlanta. All right, John, here we go. I-75 rivalry used to be the Peace Pike Trophy when you played. What can we look forward to as Falcon alums, Falcon fans from BG heading into UT?
Well, I think they're going to compete. I think they're going to compete. I mean, you know, we go out to win every football game.
Right.
You know, this Toledo team isn't the '93 Cowboys, so you know, we're going out to win this football game, and I think it's possible. I think that, you know, there's going to take some balls to bounce, you know, one way or the other. But I think that, you know, these guys are going to go out there. We always compete well against Toledo. I think it's going to be a great game. You know, I think that there are some things that we figured out. Defensively, you know, even with the score last week being as bad as it was, defensively there were things that we figured out. You know, we saw guys tackle well. You know, yes, it sounds crazy when you think of all the points you gave up, but guys actually tackled decent. There wasn't a lot of, you know, missed tackles leading to big gains, and that was the problem that we saw against Miami. That seems to have been something that they fixed. I think this team is just probably a few weeks away from really having a breakthrough where you can see some growth really come from them.
Tackling is good, but when you're tackling the guy in the end zone after they have 63 points, maybe a little late. Okay, so let's go focus on this. You played in this rivalry. Take me back. What was it like the week of Toledo?
I mean, it was intense. Like, I was a person personally that it's a football game, you know, and if you only get 48 of these opportunities. Back when I played, it was 44. You only get so many of these opportunities. So if you need a reason to get up for it, you probably shouldn't be doing this. All of the extra stuff doesn't happen until Saturday. You know, you might, I mean, if you're not watching film during the week, if you're not working out during the week, these are things you're already doing. But that extra juice on Saturday, where, you know, a 4'6" guy, maybe a 4.55 on Saturday. You know, that energy, because you know, you run into these guys in the mall. You see these guys on TV. You know that these are the guys you played against in high school. Some of us, these are guys that, you know, we're playing for dominance within this area.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there is going to be that extra piece. But for me, the extra piece didn't come until Saturday. On Saturday, it was like, okay, I'm already ready to run through a wall. I'll run through 2 walls today. But that's just because of the energy of the room. I mean, you've never been to an empty BG Toledo game. That's never happened. There's always people in the stands going crazy, especially at the Glass Bowl. I wonder, because of the youth of the team, how's that environment going to affect them? Because I know my first Glass Bowl game, I was like, whoa, you know. But at the same time, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, I was ready to go. So, you know, going up there to Toledo to play that game, the energy is going to be there, and you respond with what the energy is given in the arena.
So the fans and the alums and guys who have been around the program know about for the last 8 against Toledo. But you mention all the time, these are a lot of kids, some of them 18, some of them 19. They haven't been around that long. But that history, that's got to sit with you there. I mean, you know at Toledo, they're saying, we've won the last 8 in a row. We're not giving it up in our house. What are we saying in Bowling Green?
We're stewing. We're stewing, and that goes from the AD, Bob Mooseberger, the head coach. I had a conversation with Coach today at the coaches show. We're stewing about that. We're not happy with that. If there's one thing, you know, I had a conversation with some of the guys that I played with while we were down in Atlanta Friday night. They're upset about it. Like, we're upset about it as a community. And so these guys understand it's 8 straight. They also understand that, hey, this is the first time that this happened. I was 2-2 against Toledo in my 4 years on the field. So for me, I'm like, we got to find it can be done, because I did it twice.
Yeah.
So again, they've got to figure it out. You know, we saw a couple of years ago up at the Glass Bowl, great game goes down to the last couple of plays of the game.
Right.
I think that, you know, you could see that type of thing. This is Jared Daigie's first one. This is Jared Daigie's first one. So how does he respond? You know, you may see him take that step. I mean, me and Todd were talking earlier today. This game like 11 for him. This is start number 11. So he's now officially a sophomore. You know, we can call him a sophomore now. So the question is, how does he respond? How does Noah Massey respond? How does Andrew Clare respond? How do these guys respond, you know, when it's the Rockets across the field and it's in their place, and, you know, in that big bowl with all the glass?
And final question for you now, okay? So what is going to happen, not when you play, but this week, what is going to happen differently to make them know this is Toledo week? You said it's just another game, but I got to believe it's somewhere.
No. I don't think it's just another game. Like, now, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
It's not one of those things where I want to say it's just another game. No, it's not just another game. You know, guys are serious. Guys are focused. We know that it's Toledo week. But you're focused and you're serious every week. You know, you may have some coaches, the coaches that are going to put the blue jerseys on the hitting dummies. You're probably going to see, you know, a Toledo helmet maybe pop up somewhere. Like, you know, that happened during my career. You know, my very first Toledo game, my freshman, my redshirt year, Coach Blackney's Thursday night speech simply was, "It's Toledo, man." And he said it 14 straight times, just like that. That's all that there is. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's all there is. That's all it is need to know.
Yeah.
You're fighting for the 419, period. That's what this is about. You don't need any special speeches. We don't have to call Shakespeare out to figure out, hey, let's say something to warm these guys up. If you're not warm, stay home.
Yeah.
You can stay in the door. We'll see you next week. That's really the way that this is. It's not a question of how do you get amped up. The amp is the fact that you're playing Toledo. As you see, I get a little excited.
I love it.
I get a little excited about
Do you have
this.
any eligibility left?
I wish.
They need you.
I got eligibility. I don't have hamstrings.
Oh,
That's the problem.
Might need one of those at least. All right. He is the former BGSU Falcon, John Gibson. He is fired up for this week. I'm fired up for this week, John. Maybe we go out and do something. Hopefully the Falcons can too. We'll find out. I zig.